Spring transitioned to River. We all went back to school after February break, and there wasn't any immediate urgency to commune with Silocytes or DSL again for some time. That's the classic manner of the Silocytes and DSL connection experiences. One time is usually enough for a while, and these powers are thus not easily abused. So the crew went on with its usual green power usage and enjoyed the growing warmth of spring. Unfortunately, things didn't go well for most of the crew after an episode at the high school in late March. Leaf and I had spent an afternoon at Drew's house, the brother of James I had spent time with on my first mycospawn journey, and we used his kitchen to make chocolate green power confections. It was a silly time as we made green power treats while we consumed green power and laughed the afternoon away. We probably wouldn't have found trouble if we just kept the product to ourselves, but Leaf sought to make some cash off the confections. In theory, this wasn't a bad idea, for there were plenty of classmates who would pay good money for confections, and the upperclassmen did such things all the time. But Leaf made some critical mistakes. His first mistake was bringing the chocolatey treats to school. One could have gotten away with that even, but Leaf went further and sold a confection to an inexperienced girl at school, and one with a big mouth at that. She ate the confection during lunch, and of course she was out of her mind by the end of the next class. She had almost never dabbled in the green power, and a confection is much too powerful for anyone who has never done so. In her altered state she acted inebriated, like from funny drinks, and was sent off to the principal. Easily tricked by the principal's offer of safety, she revealed the source of her green power confection to escape a greater demise. This resulted in most of the Sunrise Hike crew being called to the office, except for me. How had I not been implicated in the punishment, a close friend to all of those fellows who were, and also the one who was present at the site of the confection synthesis? Of course I was grateful for being spared, but confused nonetheless, and sure that my friends were not going to be happy with my immunity. Through the school's investigation of Leaf's confection distribution, somehow the entire crew was implicated for their green power usage, and thus suspended and required to have power usage counselling, something that is usually a joke for green power users. I was thrilled to be free of the condemnation, but the parents of the crew were upset that I was spared. They went on to accuse me of turning them all on to the green power in the first place, which was a desperate fallacy, since Leaf and Rufflesack had tried the green power at least a year before me. Though I remained in good standing with the school, my parents thought it best that I stop hanging out with the old crew. To them, it was only a matter of time before I'd be implicated in some mishap and have my whole future ruined. I fought against this initially, but figured that it might actually be for the best. To tell the truth, I was growing tired of the crew and sensed that they didn't truly appreciate me, nor the knowledge that I possessed. I was ready to move on to another chapter, to craft a crew that appreciated me more. So I stopped hanging out with them, and a Friday night came around when I had nothing going on. I jumped on the Basefook website, which the author has informed me is similar to one of your websites, and saw that a classmate of mine named River was online. Becoming good friends with River was strange, in the sense that I had known him most of my life, but had basically chosen to not be close friends. Our parents were friends, we played soccer together, and we were in the same homeroom for all high school. We were never close friends growing up, because I considered him to be a popular kid. He got much taller than most of us in the cycle of puberty, was a classic bleach blonde with blue eyes guy, and thus attracted constant female attention. I didn't think he came across as arrogant, at least compared to the other physically precocious guys in our grade, but I decided I wasn't going to join the fan club. We had only shared pleasant exchanges in homeroom, so I decided to give him a holler on Basefook to see if he wanted to hang out that night. He wasn't busy and gladly invited me over to his house to stay the night. Apparently, he had a cool basement, and we could break into his parents' supply of funny drinks. So I headed over for the night and decided to give chilling with River a go. It turned out to be quite the fun night. We got loose on the drinks and talked about things that had been going on the past couple of years that we had not yet shared with one another. We agreed that it was funny that we had never hung out like this, and bonded over a mutually growing appreciation for MGMT's new album, Congratulations. The album is perfectly psychedelic, almost as a cliché looking back, but it was certainly no joke nor a frivolous work, an ideal catalyst for a deep, power-related friendship. River had only tried the green power once, but said that he was sure his parents were green power users, and that they wouldn't really care if they caught us dabbling in the basement. So we planned to hang out the next weekend, and I would bring some green power for us to consume. It would be perfect in his basement. There were posters of John Lennon, Kurt Cobain, The Dark Side of the Moon, and many other trippy power-influenced artworks. Put that together with green power and MGMT, and we would surely have a good time. It was settled in our drunken stupor that we would have a classic green power night the next weekend, and we were clearly both excited by this new friendship. River was an excellent listener, and I could tell that we both weren't used to having friends who genuinely cared about what one another said. We carried out our plans the following weekend, and had an eye-opening time. My old crew never appreciated the same music I did, and River and I both had never dove into Congratulations the way that the basement and the green power allowed us to. It was incredible, and I was sure that MGMT was largely influenced by the DSL connection with this album. Take the album artwork for starters, a cat head made out of a wave in the ocean, with a surfing cat on its tongue shaking its head so fast that it left a trail of images. The first song on the album, It's Working, was apparently written about the feel-good Dharma power, but the lyrics apply to the experience of a DSL connection just as well. How will I know if it's working right? MGMT asked. If I try to feel at all, I am deceived. My mind's connected. It's empty now. As I look out, I feel all right. My heart is racing. I could spend quite some time citing all the apparent references to the DSL connection here, but I've been informed that your dimension is also blessed with MGMT, so I will leave you to it. All of this is to say that we were turned onto it, and I knew that it'd be a wild time to hook up to DSL and listen to the full album. Luckily, Rashid was scheduled to return home for his college break and had some potent DSL in tow. This DSL chip was different than the last one in that it was bright red and apparently double stacked, as Rashid put it, meaning that one chip had the power of two and beyond. He advised me that it'd probably be best for us to split this one in half, and I trusted his wisdom, as I always had. It was all very exciting to be taking DSL for the second time and with a new friend in a comfortable basement. I wouldn't have to worry about being in cars, in public, or in the presence of strange friends or parents. River was game to shack up in the basement and go for his first connection as a means of coming closer to the wisdom of MGMT and beyond. There was more excitement than trepidation, for my one DSL connection had been overwhelmingly positive and contained much less fearful perception than any mycospawn experiences had. I assured River that this would be the case, and we had established the perfect set and setting to journey in the great unknown together. Of course, there was a question of how River would handle it, since he was a relatively new consumer of green power, but I had faith in his ability to handle it. River has an innately passive quality to him that his name implies. He possessed an effortless faculty to let everything flow, to not get hung up on any matters of discussion, and to always take the optimistic route in the rapids. He is, essentially, the perfect companion for tripping in the great unknown.